It's fun watching people slip on icy or wet surfaces, isn't it? But would they slip on a rough surface, say like a road? No, right? Then why is it so difficult to walk on any smooth surface like ice or wet marble? To find out, let's look at the surface very closely. This is how the icy surface looks. It has tiny peaks and valleys. And this is how the road looks up close. Do you see any difference? Yes, the peaks and valleys on the road surface are much bigger and denser than the ones on an icy surface. So, when these surfaces come in contact with other surfaces, the rough surface makes strong interlocks and the smooth surface makes weak interlocks. That means sliding something on a rough surface takes more force than sliding something on a smooth surface. From this, we can say frictional force depends on the nature of the surfaces in contact. If the surfaces are smoother, friction will be less. And if they are rough, then friction will be more. Now we have a basic understanding of how friction works on solid surfaces. But it is not necessary for friction to exist only between solid surfaces. Friction can act on liquids and gases as well. If you throw a ball in air and roll another one on the ground, which one goes farther? The one in air, right? That means liquids and gases are smoother than solid surfaces. The friction between them is very less. But the nature of the surface is not the only factor on which friction depends. Consider two boxes. One is heavier than the other. Which one do you think will be easier to move? The lighter one, right? That means the friction is less for the lighter box compared to the heavy box. And why is that? Because the heavy box pushes the surface with a greater force, it makes the interlocking between the two surfaces strong and hence increases the friction. So we can say frictional force increases with the weight of the body. Now answer this. Does friction depend on the area of contact? Let's do an activity to find out. We have this box and a spring balance to measure the frictional force. You know how a spring balance works, right? It can tell you the value of the force with which this end is being pulled. So when we drag it over this surface, it will show the reading of the frictional force that is applied on the box. Now the reading is this. In this case, the entire area of the box is in contact with the surface. Now let's do the same activity on the other side of the box. Let's see what value we will get in this case. Yup, this is the same as earlier. So, we can safely say that friction doesn't depend on the area of contact. That's all for today. Let's recap what we have learned so far. First, we learned that the frictional force on the smooth surface is less than that on the rough surface. Then, we also saw that liquids and gases also exert frictional force and it is very small as compared to solids. Then we saw that frictional force depends on the weight of the body. Greater the weight of the body, larger will be the force exerted by the surface on it. And lastly, we saw that for two bodies with the same weight, the frictional force is independent of the area of contact. I hope you understood all that we learned today. Later, we will see more interesting things about friction. Till then, keep learning.